can't take all this in. It's been a long time coming. I just have to say, if I had $1 for every time someone said our transaction was dead, I could have raised the money myself. But we did it. We finalized our partnership today, and we have a lot of people to thank, so bear with me here a bit. To U.S. Steel's incredibly hardworking employees, thank you. To the communities that stood by us, thank you. To our local union leaders who, with courage, boldness, and grit, stood up to their international leadership, thank you. To steel industry leaders who knew all along that this was the right partnership for our industry, thank you. To our valued customers and suppliers who worked with us and advocated for us, thank you. To the elected officials who had the grit and guts to do the right thing, thank you. To our board members and the leaders of U.S. Steel who have stayed steadfast and true, thank you. To Mr. Takahiro Mori and all the people at Nippon Steel whose integrity, dedication, and sense of honor are unparalleled, thank you. To President Trump, whose bold leadership found a path forward, thank you. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't also say thank you to my wife, somewhere here, of 44 years, Lynn. She's actually here with us now, and I just have to ask you, oh, there you are. Are you enjoying our romantic afternoon in the Big Apple? Any chance I can get another shot at a second date, maybe? Well, and again, everybody, I'm so grateful, and to our employees, our partners at Nippon Steel, and the President of the United States, big thank you. And it's just a privilege to be here, Ron, in this venue. Thank you as well. And I just really appreciate this organization and what you do. So this moment belongs to all the people that I've thanked, and this story isn't about a company, it's about generations of hard work and dignity. It's a story of American steel forged not only in furnaces, but in resolve. It's about the soul of U.S. Steel and the bold decisions we made that transformed this 124-year-old iconic company into something better and, yes, bigger. These weren't decisions made in comfort or ease. They were made with clarity and courage, at times under pressure, but always with purpose. And I'll say this, we don't need to second guess them. We made them with no regrets. We brushed off the activists and the antagonists, the name calling, the lies, the innuendos. We looked forward, not backward. We acted decisively, not defensively. And in doing so, we positioned this story company not just for the next quarter, but for the next 124 years. All along, we reminded ourselves to keep the main thing, the main thing. Not just for the moment, but again, for another 124 years. So what is the main thing? Let me remind you of this rumpled up note card that I've carried with me for about 18 months. You see, this partnership needed to be finalized before the note card finally crumbled. The main thing, our top priority, is to fulfill our fiduciary duties to stockholders by closing the transaction with Nippon Steel while adhering to our steel principles. It was that simple. And that guided us. That main thing remained the main thing. Today, I want to take you on a bit of a journey to how we got here. A legacy renewed, a future secured, and a global partner in Nippon Steel who enhances our strengths and shares our values. Let's begin with about a decade ago. Think of where we were. The world was changing. Global markets had shifted. A flood of Chinese overcapacity was straining steel prices yet again. U.S. Steel was operating with aging infrastructure, fighting price wars, and at one point, we were bleeding something like nearly $2 million per day over a 5-year period. That wasn't just unsustainable, it was unacceptable. In other words, change was not an option, it was required, it was urgent, and it was, quite frankly, existential. So we acted, we revitalized our core assets, removed costs, and bluntly, made some incredibly tough calls. We prioritized putting the right people in the right seats because no strategy works without the right team to execute it. But we didn't stop there. We made a defining shift towards a best of both strategy, marrying the strengths of our legacy integrated steelmaking with the agility and efficiency of electric arc furnace production. We bought half of Big River Steel in Arkansas, and then all of it. And then quickly began on Big River 2, the most technologically advanced EAF mill in North America. These decisions weren't about walking away from our heritage. They were about reinforcing it with innovation, with vision, with velocity. We stepped off the sidelines and re-entered the game as a company built for the future while still being rooted in the past. Around this time, we started talking about being better, not bigger. And in the meantime, we achieved faster turnaround, better responsiveness, higher quality. We didn't just become more competitive, we became more essential. Then, COVID-19 pandemic tested us, but it also taught us. It was a horrible time, but it taught us speed, it taught us flexibility, it taught us to trust autonomy at all levels. When other companies built Taj Mahals with marble lobbies and gleaming towers to order their teams back to the office, we said something different. Our steel mills are our Taj Mahals. For the corporate side, we embraced hybrid work. At U.S. Steel, culture isn't in the square footage, it's in the steel-toed boots, the shop floor decisions, and the way we treat one another. Our way of working is exemplified by what we call our STEEL principles, S-T-E-E-L principles. Safety first, trust and respect, environmental stewardship, excellence and accountability, and lawful and ethical conduct. Our STEEL principles aren't just a poster in the break room, they're how we operate. They're alive in our decisions, our dialogue, and our direction. Every decision we made, every investment, every change that was enacted was with our STEEL principles at the center. And the results, simply put, speak for themselves. We returned billions to stockholders. U.S. Steel is worth more than 7 times what it was about a decade ago, from less than $2 billion to some $14 billion. We celebrated 16 consecutive quarters of profit sharing with our union represented employees because at U.S. Steel, when our company does well, we all do well together. And with the start of our partnership with Nippon Steel, our union represented employees in the U.S. will also be receiving a $5,000 bonus. Most importantly, we achieved industry-leading safety performance. This isn't just transformation on paper, it's transformation you can see in the numbers on the mill floor and in the pride of our people's faces. At U.S. Steel, our leaders walk the mill floors. They are not photo ops, they're not scripted, they're conversations, real, unfiltered check-ins on the pulse of our workforce. As leaders, we learn more in those conversations than we ever could from a spreadsheet. It's as simple as saying, how's it going? And here's what we learned. People stay here because they believe. Our voluntary attrition rate is below 5%. That's almost unheard of in today's industrial labor market, and it tells me that our people see a future here. And we invest in that future. We've awarded millions of dollars of scholarships to the children of our employees, because when we say we're building for the next generation, we mean it. We're incredibly pleased to be an industry leader in safety performance. But we're not resting. Every injury presented, every hazard eliminated is a victory for friends and family members counting on the safe return home of their loved ones every day. And we know that how we achieve success matters. We've been named one of the world's most ethical companies by Ethisphere for 4 years running, because ethical conduct isn't a buzzword. It's a standard we established more than a century ago as the first company in corporate America to create an explicit code of business conduct. And we just don't operate in our communities, we live in them. Pittsburgh and places like the Mon Valley and Gary and Osceola and northern Minnesota, Fairfield, these aren't just dots on a map or zip codes. They're hometowns, they're legacies, they're at the heart of who we are. And even as we grow, we stay rooted, committed to showing up and to being a partner our communities can count on. In Braddock, Pennsylvania, home of our first mill, we just helped raise $21 million to rebuild Andrew Carnegie's first public library in the United States. And let me be absolutely clear. Nippon Steel did not come knocking on our door by accident. They came because they saw something rare, something worth investing in, something worth believing in, something worth growing. A company that, with their expertise, could become both better and bigger. They saw, in fact, what many did, a revitalized company that had faced reality, retooled its future, and emerged stronger. They saw a company powered by one of the most committed and capable workforces anywhere in the world. They saw a track record, not of promises, but of delivery, and they saw a stock that had been undervalued by the market. So let's talk about $55 a share. That was 142% over the undisturbed stock price. $55 wasn't a lucky number pulled out of thin air. This was no fluke. That was and is a true and fair reflection of the worth that our employees have built. That number reflects productivity, innovation, resilience, and an unshakable belief in what American steelmaking can still mean to the world. Nippon Steel came because they wanted to partner with a company that had already done the hard work of transformation, a company poised for its next great leap. Let's talk about what that means, this partnership. What does it really mean? Nippon Steel is not just another investor. They are one of the most respected and technologically advanced steelmakers in the world. They bring world-class research and development, almost 40,000 patents. They bring best-in-class quality systems. They bring a global footprint that complements our own, expanding our reach, increasing our resilience, and deepening our capabilities. But even more important than the assets or the capabilities, they bring values that resonate with ours. This isn't just a business match, it's a values match. We started every, and I mean every deal conversation with a reminder to be true to our steel principles. They were our rock, our guide, our foundation. Let me tell you a little bit about Nippon Steel. They've been in the United States for about 40 years. They've forged critical steelmaking components here in the United States, not far from the headquarters in Pittsburgh, in fact, at Standard Steel and William Nippon. Nippon Steel believes in honor of craftsmanship, in getting the work right, not just doing it fast. They understand the power of humility and leadership, the willingness to listen, to learn, and to grow. They share our belief in patience and planning, that real value is built over years, not in quarterly increments. They believe that employees are their greatest strength, and in treating them fairly. And most of all, they exemplify excellence through discipline, the unrelenting pursuit of improvement. This is not a one-sided relationship. This is not about one company taking over another. This is about two respected industrial giants learning from each other, pushing one another, building something better together. It's a partnership in the truest sense of the word. As I've said before, we're not just learning from Nippon, we're learning with Nippon Steel. That distinction matters because collaboration and true partnership is not about giving up control, it's about gaining strength. Nippon Steel are great long-term partners, committed to our people, our communities, and our shared future. My relationship with Takahiro Mori, their representative director, vice chairman, and executive vice president, who has been in charge of the U.S. Steel project, has grown out of mutual respect. He's the real deal. Thoughtful, principled, and focused on the long term. You know, here in the U.S., we believe in the value of constructive conflict. And I'll admit, sometimes I can get a bit abrasive. In fact, Mr. Mori once told me that, I don't believe it or not, I talk too much, which proved not only that he's principled and thoughtful, but also that he's an excellent judge of character. He's also incredibly kind. When my daughter Vanessa visited Japan on vacation, Mr. Mori was kind enough to arrange for her to visit a Nippon facility. And when she shared an email with me about that tour, I noticed that it included a message where she seemed to be asking him to dinner. I was shocked. I called her right away, actually, and that she would ask him to dinner. I couldn't believe how forward she'd been. And I told her right away. Her response, Dad, Mr. Mori was right. You do talk too much and you don't read your emails. He invited me. Clearly, Mr. Mori, like Mr. Mori, Vanessa's also a very good judge of character. So yes, U.S. Steel is partnering with Nippon Steel, and let me make this part perfectly clear. The steel made in America will remain American, mined here, melted here, and made here. This partnership amplifies and improves who we are rather than abrogates it. But don't just take it from me. Consider the legally binding investments commitments that have been made alongside Nippon Steel. Together, we're going to be investing $14 billion in the future of American steelmaking in Pennsylvania, in Indiana, in Arkansas, in Alabama, in Minnesota. This is vastly more than the entire publicly traded American steel industry invested last year. So forget better, not bigger. We will be both. We'll be better and bigger. 14 billion in investments in Indiana, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Alabama. Revamping our largest blast furnace, replacing a 1938 vintage hot strip mill, building a brand new greenfield steel mill, and much more. These strategic moves will be centered around delivering what our customers need when they need it. Faster, cleaner, and stronger. This is what we mean by being better and bigger. We'll have not only the capabilities, but also the capacity. Meanwhile, we're diving headfirst into advanced technology. Technology is not replacing our workforce, it's empowering them. With AI and automation, we are creating smarter, safer, and more efficient operations that strengthen, not sideline, our people. Every step of this transformation is rooted in our enduring promise. Mined, melted, and made in America. I don't need to tell you the road here was rocky. Competitors tried to undermine us. Activists tried to remove us. The International Union tried to block us. The previous presidential administration tried to kill this partnership in its tracks. I even had to pay a visit to the president. Sitting in the Oval Office, you can't help but feel humbled, especially if you're a C-level accountant like myself. Let me tell you something about visiting President Trump in the White House. You gotta be prepared. You gotta be agile. You gotta be ready for the unexpected. The president respects people who know the facts and advocate strongly for their position. As I sat there in the Oval Office explaining our partnership with Nippon Steel and how it would enhance American national security, American industry, and American strength, I could see that President Trump got it. And it's thanks to his bold leadership that we are here today. The partnership he negotiated will directly benefit America, U.S. Steel's employees, and the communities where we live and work, and U.S. manufacturers that will have massively expanded access to domestically produced steel. Thank you again, Mr. President. Today, steel remains the foundation of every modern economy in every great country. It's in our bridges, as you know, our skylines, our appliances, our cars. It's our backbone. Now, U.S. Steel is turning the page on the events that brought us to this point and beginning to write the next chapter of our storied history. Our focus? Growing bigger and getting better, but never forgetting who we're building for. Here's to the next 124 years, forged by conviction, powered by transformation, and always made in America. But don't listen to just me. Listen to what our employees and our communities tell us. Please roll the video.
Breaking news.
Some more breaking news out of Washington.
Some really big breaking news just coming in. U.S. Steel is skyrocketing right now.
President Trump announcing
a partnership
between U.S. Steel and Japan's Nippon Steel.
The Nippon Steel deal with U.S. Steel will go through.
After much negotiation,
Trump says it'll fortify U.S. Steel.
The president also saying U.S. Steel will keep its headquarters
Right here in Pittsburgh.
Extremely happy right now.
It's like an early Christmas for the Mon Valley.
I feel for these families that can have this relief.
I could take a breath today.
And I'm not much for crying, but I think I might have shed a couple tears. I'm happy for all the families that are going to be able to keep sending their kids to college, paying their mortgages, and feeding their families.
It's going to create jobs, construction jobs, and it's going to sustain jobs.
I think this is great for our national security, great for our economic security, and frankly, for me, it's great for the workers.
Let's keep our mill alive.
For generations, the name United States Steel was synonymous with greatness, and now it will again be synonymous with greatness. That's what it's going to be. The best and strongest steel on earth will forever be made in America and made in Pennsylvania.
When somebody asks me where I work, I say U.S. Steel, and I'm proud to say it. U.S. Steel is by far the best place to work.
It's iconic to the city of Pittsburgh. You know, you think of the Steelers, and when you think of Pittsburgh, you think of U.S. Steel.
Does my heart glad that Pittsburgh will continue to be a steel-making city because this is the birthplace of American steel.
U.S. Steel has given me a great career. My kids have done well. My family has done well because of U.S. Steel, and I'm really excited to see that continue for the next generation.
U.S. Steel has been in my family for a long time. It has provided myself and my family a good living, good benefits. This deal will give us the opportunity to enjoy these jobs here and a long, prosperous future here with this company.
You can't be competitive in the steel industry if you're not at the cutting edge. And I think that's what we'll do as a company. Nippon has a lot of good ideas, as I know we do too, but we're going to make each other stronger. That's what excites me about it.
They have a lot of research and development and a lot of money to back it. Yeah. So the fact that they come in and partner with us to develop what we already have here, it's amazing.
To have a partnership with a company like Nippon, who truly is a global leader, I think this is going to be significant for us. We're over a 100-year company. I think this gets us to the next 100 years.
The innovation that we'll continue to be able to do and become even a a better leader in the steel industry is just in front of them.
It's going to solidify the futures for every men and women and their family for generations to come.
Each time I see that, I got to tell you, it brings tears to my eyes, the hard work of these people. At U.S. Steel, there's no doubt we are better and well on our way to better and bigger. Mine, melt, and made in America by Americans, for Americans, together with Nippon Steel. We're not just forging steel, we're forging America's future. Tomorrow will be better and bigger than today. Thank you very much.